All right, so we've all heard the track taking over the world in R&B over the last 6 months, Folded by Kehlani. It's a banger of a track, and honestly, the thing that sticks out to me the most is that string intro. It's so good. Along that same thought, my wife has been forcing me to watch Bridgerton, and if there's one good thing about that show for me, it's the strings in it. They sound like royalty, they sound beautiful, and I actually found that to be really inspiring, and I want to add that into some R&B tracks. So, leaning into that, I want to get some beautiful string flourishes, trills, things to make it feel majestic and beautiful. So today we'll build out a vibe like Folded by Kehlani, as well as really dig into how to make realistic and awesome sounding strings, utilizing different sample libraries, finding cool and interesting harmonies, making realistic sonic choices with these instruments, and most importantly, for me at least, I'll show you how to make a cool flourish that lands beautifully, transitioning right into your next section. I'll make the MIDI, the loop, and the beat available on the Patreon, and with all that, let's get started. First off, starting with the keys progression, I think I'm mostly sitting on a 4, 3, 2, and then I'm walking back up to the 4. In the middle of the progression, I wanted to add a little bit of sauce, so I went for a diminished chord. There's two tricks with diminished chords that works really well. You do a half step below the chord you're going to, or you can do a half step kind of above or on. So for this one, I'm playing an F sharp diminished, and then I'm playing F sharp major 7. So it's kind of like the diminished chord is on top of the major chord you're playing. For this, I played F sharp diminished, leading to F sharp major 7, and it sounds like this. All right, let's get to the strings. First things first, the intro flourish. So what is a flourish? To me, a flourish is a bunch of notes played really quickly, 16th notes, either ascending or descending, landing to a beautiful sustaining note. For this one, I'm choosing to stay purely diatonic, but I'm sure you could find some really cool alt scales, and they probably give some really cool color. So I'm making sure to land on a really nice note. I've chose the 5 for this one, and then I'm stacking some harmonies around it. We'll get to the ending. Let's build out the beginning of it first. To play this in, I'm slowing the tape down by 12 semitones, so it's much slower than the tempo we're at right now. And this will allow me to play it in at a reasonable speed. Okay, let's play it in. So for that, I'm basically playing the same notes a bunch of times, but I'm going one note higher every single time in the scale. So I played, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, then I'm playing 2, 3, 4, 5, then I'm playing 3, 4, 5, 6. You get the idea. I then felt like we needed to have some big weight to it, so I added this cello playing the root notes. All right, so how do I make it sound full and wide? Great question. So you're gonna add the violins. I have violins too, and violas all playing these same notes, just in a couple different registers. Now if I pair those violins and violas with the cello, we got this nice wide full sound. Adding in a different sample library, I'm using Contact for a solo violin and a solo viola. So these ones are gonna have a bit more pointy sound because it's not multiple strings in a room, it's one. A big thing here is you wanna play with the MIDI style. So I'm using sforzando, I think that's how you say it, to build the flourish. And then once we hit that big landing note, it's actually moving to sustain. You can play with how the sample library interacts with the different samples by the lower register in Contact at least. All right, this is how the flourish is sounding like. Let's build out some chords on the strings for the next section. For this, I'm making sure I'm harmonizing with the different instruments. Viola is going to be a little bit lower than the violins. Cello is playing the root notes, keeping it simple. A big thing is you don't want to have too many notes on one sample library. For me, it's not a hard and fast rule, but I would aim for 1 to 2 notes maximum on the violin and viola, and then 1 note for the cello. All right, let's move on to drums. Let's start with the kick. Adding a rim for the snare. Open hat next. Hi-hats next, playing with the 32nd and 64th note rolls just to give it a bit of pocket. Okay, moving on to some vocals for some extra width. I'm going to slow the tape down and I'm going to sing in a vocal that's going to feel like a sample.
Getting lost downtown, yeah, downtown you're living in. Oh, 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 lost downtown you're living in.
My new favorite thing to do is double that sampled vocal that now sounds high pitched because we slowed the tape down and I've now sped it back up. And now I'm going to double it with my regular lower register. So we have this really cool harmony kind of sound. To see my full vocal process that I got, there's a video right there in the corner that shows you from start to finish how to get vocal samples like I make.
Lost downtown you're living in, living in. Oh, town you're living in, why you living there?
I also want to add in this choir, so I'm going to stack my own voice a bunch of times. We're going to harmonize it going up, add some lows, falsetto,
That's so hot.
and that sounds like this. All right, let's build out the melodies a bit more. Let's add some plucks and we're gonna filter it pretty good. Adding in this drum breakdown for a break section. Sub bass, this really glued it all together. Transition back into the beat, we're grabbing that flourish. Love it. I'm adding this voice layer and I'm going to format my voice down just to add some extra depth in that low section.
It's in my head, it's in my mind. No, we can work it to the grind.
Electric piano. All right, moving on to bass. I have an interesting conundrum on this one. I tried 2 different ways to play the bass part in. The first one, I was having a bit more fun with runs, creating a bit more moments, but I felt like the groove wasn't quite settling as deep. And I played a second part in and I focused really hard on every time the kick hit, I play a note and kept it really simple. Let's check out both of them. Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. All right, let's move on to bass. I have a fun question for you guys.
I'm gonna show 2 different versions because I thought I liked my runs more, but this is simpler but more in the pocket. So first half will be the runs, second half will be the pocket, and see what it feels like. Pocket.
So those are the 2 options. If you have a preference, let me know in the comments below. let's keep moving. I grab the guitar to have some little plucky kind of moments. The first part, I've got this motif on the guitar and it's kind of playing the same line over and over. In the B section, I'm going up higher. To soften the guitar sound a little bit, I added rotor cabinet on it and it gives it this really phasey, spinny kind of sound. To build for the ending, I've created this distorted guitar sound and I'm just playing whatever kind of solo-y vibe on it, just to give it a big lift. Make sure to catch those shots. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button and subscribe button if you made it this far. The loop, the beat, and the MIDI, all available on the Patreon. And with that, let's check out what we made.
Okay, Max.